Hello, True Blue Oklahoman here. We're going to talk about the pollution in Grand Lake, the Cherokees in Oklahoma here in a little bit. There's a couple of things we need to cover. Pollution is very widespread right now, and of course with the new regime and gutting all the EPA rules, it's going to get worse. But there's a couple of things we need to think about here. I don't know if you've heard about this one. This is just a recent discovery. In North Dakota, 20,000 barrels of oil have spilled into agricultural land. That's 840,000 gallons of a mix of oil and brine, which is really just salt water. And it's it was dumped near land that is used for growing wheat, corn, soybeans, agricultural land. 20,000 barrels of oil was spilled. Anyway, this guy named Bill Seuss, he's the manager of the Department of Environmental Quality, says it hasn't impacted water quality yet, but we don't know how deep the impact goes. This is a big one. So, and then this was Hess Oil Company that lost all this oil. And of course their statement says, imagine this, quote, safety and protection of the environment are our top priorities. Yet somehow it took them 3 weeks to notice they had lost about 20,000 barrels of oil. That's not exactly being on top of things, folks. Flint, Michigan still has contaminated drinking water. They're still fighting with that. Recently in Southern California off the coast, they've discovered old barrels that were dumped decades ago, leaking toxic alkaline waste. They're actually creating toxic vents on the seafloor. Isn't that wonderful? Texas has very unhealthy ozone levels because of the extreme heat caused by global warming. Okay, let's talk about Oklahoma. Picture Oklahoma, about 100 miles northeast of where I am in Tulsa, is still considered one of the most toxic Superfund sites in the United States. It's called the Tar Creek Superfund site. And Tar Creek, now get this, Tar Creek is still one of the most contaminated pieces of water in the U.S. It runs straight into the Neosho River, then into Spring Creek, and then into Grand Lake. So, we still have toxic waste flowing from Tar Creek into the Neosho, into Spring Creek, right into Grand Lake. And you may have heard a couple of days ago, they were talking about it on the news, several people were, in western Oklahoma, Eckley, Oklahoma to be exact, western Oklahoma, northwestern. In the past few weeks, an Oklahoma rancher has lost 23 cows and 2 calves from a nearby contaminated creek. That nearby contaminated creek happens to be 5 Mile Creek. Now, 5 Mile Creek is a tributary of Spring River, which begins in Neosho, Missouri, which then flows into the Neosho River, and at Twin Bridges, right above Grand Lake, those 2 rivers combine to become the Grand River, and then flow directly into Grand Lake. So we have Grand Lake being polluted here by several different creeks and rivers. And the EPA is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. They're going to do less and less about any of this kind of stuff because the Trump regime doesn't care. Those were some of the first regulations they got rid of. So, I don't know. I guess hopefully in November we can take America back again. But you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to vote blue. Maybe we can get some things cleaned up after that. I don't know. All we can do is try, right? What we're doing now isn't working. I don't know. Think about it. Have a good day.